Hello, everybody. Moses Frost coming to you here from a sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, March 3rd at the time of this recording. Now, today there's two news items that I want to cover. The first one is dovetailing from last week's Mozilla Firefox terms of service fiasco, right? We'll just call it that. If you haven't been tracking it, it looks like there's a lot of back and forth between the Mozilla Firefox folks and the public and whether or not they're selling their data. It's definitely caused some consternation. Now, for those that have not seen that video, it basically boils down to the fact that Mozilla makes a ton of their revenue from these actual sources such as Google, and those revenue sources may or may not be going away. They could be looking for other revenue sources, and it appears that data is one of the ways that they want to do that. Now, this becomes a challenge because if you think about the way that Mozilla and Mozilla Firefox has initially been funded, one of the things that they said very clearly was, we will never, ever, ever, ever sell your data, we promise. And now what they're going to do is sell your data. Just kidding. Now, of course, they have the right to do that, but a lot of privacy advocates are worried. They're scrambling. What do we do? What browser do we go for? A lot of people in the community have told me that they're going to use Brave. Other people say that they will use a Firefox alternative like LibreFox. There are some very strange people that want to use Opera. Mac people, still Mac OS, you can use Safari. But if you are concerned about a big company and the way that that big company is handling your data, many people are trying to avoid Chrome and Microsoft Edge and whatnot. Now, what's really interesting about this is that there are these new enterprise browsers that are designed to be enterprise focused, distribute technology a little differently. These enterprise browsers, such as the Palo Alto one, the Island one, etc., there's others out there. They are built on Chromium under the hood. So it could be that your company is going to be running Chromium anyway. And to be honest, the number of people running Firefox was not super high. The other thing that's interesting is that Firefox and is part of the Tor browser, right? So what is going to happen with that Tor browser and those projects? Who knows, right? So it's going to be an interesting space to watch. There are other open source browsers that are starting to be built out there, so it's not going to be just a hegemony of Chrome, but for now, Chrome seems to be the dominant player in the space, or Chromium type products. That's the first thing that I want to close the loop on. Now, the second thing, and most kind of interesting, is the fact that there was a fairly large heist that happened last week or maybe a month ago. It's kind of hard to tell when this all occurred. But basically, the FBI is now confirming that Bybit, which is a cryptocurrency exchange of sorts running Ethereum, was actually breached by the North Korean group known as Lazarus, or they go by some other names. They're kind of interesting. But what's really interesting about this, there's a couple of stories here that kind of tie up. The first one is that developers compromised, or the hackers compromised developers' workstations. Sorry about that. And those developer workstations had keys to be able to modify things like Amazon S3 buckets. And so what the group did was they modified client-side JavaScript. So this wasn't server-side, client-side JavaScript that was able to be used to steal cryptocurrency. Now, how much cryptocurrency could have been stolen by this North Korea hacking group, but just using this one attack alone? Well, it turns out that the number is 1.5 or so billion dollars. Now, for those that have not been watching the geopolitical natures of North Korea, and I don't blame you if you don't, North Korea has been funding much of their programs using stolen cryptocurrency for quite a while. So it's going to be interesting to see how this money gets moved and how it's tracked, and how the money gets converted into anything usable. However, it is interesting to see that the North Korean government is using basically mafia-style theft to fund their government. to try to, produce things like nuclear weapons or just weapons in general. Anyway, fascinating story. Really interesting if you're a cloud security person like I am, or just cloud in general. Really interesting to see that. I also big into, well, it looks like there are lots of people in the developer space that always are concerned with why test, why do we need to test, what exactly is it that I'm getting from testing and things like this. And it turns out that the answer is, quite frankly, that your attacker groups could be based out of the North Korean government, which is actually pretty well funded, and they have a pretty interesting legacy about that. So anyway, I will be making more videos like this daily. I will try to do them daily. If you like them, please be sure to subscribe to whatever media you found this on, whether it was YouTube, Rumble, StreamYard, wherever you found it, you can definitely hit subscribe. You can follow me on all the social medias. And if this will also go to audio, trying to get it out to podcast form. So if you don't want video form, you can get it this way as well. Thank you.